All right, we need to decode the chuck so you know what parts to order and so you know how to put it back together. So there's markings on here, kind of like cuneiform. Sometimes they're marked pretty clearly, and sometimes they're marked a little bit old school, so we're going to be careful and take off the sleeve. We've already used a service ring and pressed it off. So we'll put that upside down. It's a very interesting design. The sleeve and the crack nut, when put together, it's a slip fit, interference slip fit, and that's what holds it all together. But if you look very carefully here, down below where the sleeve goes, there's a number right here. I don't know if you can see that right there. And it's a stamped number or engraved. I'm not sure what process they use, but it's right there on the chuck. It's hidden by the sleeve. But this is to identify that this is jaw number 2. So I'm going to try not to spill all. This has been recently serviced, so the grease should hold the balls in. And if I rotate it around, tell me when that's showing up real good. The one right there. That tells me that that's the number 1 jaw. These look the same when you get them in a package, but they're all slightly different. Since there's threads on the inside of the crack nut and threads on the jaws, they have to be offset a little bit. There's a lead angle to thread, so they're off just a little bit compared to each other, so they need to go in the right way so that when you rebuild it, all the jaws stick out exactly the same length. They'll hold a bit good. If they don't, then you've rebuilt it wrong. You need to mesh them back together. But the jaw is matched to the arbor, and they're marked on the arbor where they go. There's a little decoder chart we have to help you know which jaw is which, and the jaws are typically not labeled themselves, but there's a key shape in the very beginning of the threads on it to tell you which one is number 1, 2, and 3. So this style chuck has, you know, the actual number 1, 2, and 3. I've seen some other ones that have just 3 marks, 3 dashes. They're real subtle in here, but every single one I've ever taken apart, they all have a marking to mark the jaws, 1, 2, and 3. So that's what's on the inside, and that's what the guts of it look like on the inside. The jaws back here. Again, the crack nut, the balls. There's a race right here, and then this big piece is the arbor. And it fits right in the sleeve. And we'll press that back on here in just a second. But that's the decoding of what's on the inside of the chuck. Now, on the outside, when you're ordering these chucks, these are both super chucks, all right? This is the old version. Very similar, if not exactly the same as the super chuck in the patent, in the original patent, maybe the second patent. And this is just a slightly more modern version. And you can see some of these relics of the modern world sneaking in. You can see some shot peen engraving right there. Not sure what that process is called. And on these, this super chuck, it just tells you the capacity, where it's manufactured, and that's all you get from looking at it on the outside. Now this is kind of a cool one. This one was somebody actually stamped this with their name. So somebody's had this and really treasured it in their shop. I've reused it, rebuilt it. And this guy's name is Spud Hightower. Kind of a cool name for a machinist. So Spud, thanks for taking care of that. It works perfectly too. But the new ones actually have this number on it here. It says that it's got a 3 Jacobs taper in the back, and it actually has a number here. This one says 30345. And so the old school ones and the new school ones have different service kits that go into them. So if you have a new one, the way it's different here is pretty obvious on the back. The sleeve is different. Different on the back. Not much different on the front. Maybe a little more pronounced bevel in the front than in the back. And sometimes they have engraving here for their date code. Looks like this one was made in 2014, December 4th or something like that. And then it has the service kit designation on the front. It gives you the capacities now in inches and in millimeters. Same chuck, same performance, and that's how you decode the chuck's exterior to know which one's which.